why do you talk about that? Why can't you talk about it in private? So you're not allowed to talk about it, but you're also not allowed to decide to break free from it. You're not allowed to refuse to be subjected to it for the sake of maintaining blood ties. And by the way, when people talk about you shouldn't cut blood ties, the person who cuts blood ties is not the person who who leaves. It's the person who abused in the first place. When you abuse someone who's supposed to be your family, you're the one who canceled the concept of blood ties, of family. Okay, so let's talk about it. Let's talk about a very sensitive topic, estrangement from close family members. So it's absolutely impossible to cover the immensity of this subject in a short video like this one. I just want to talk to two groups. So the first group is the people who judge, the people who have made this decision, and the second group is the people who have made this decision but who feel so much guilt because they are being guilted. They are being guilt tripped by the first group. I want to talk to those who judge, and I want to talk to those who made that decision to protect themselves from real dangers, but who feel guilty for having done so. To the first group, what I want to say, I think that within this first group, there are definitely many subgroups. I think that there are those who have lived such sheltered lives and such, I'm not going to say perfect lives because no one has a perfect life. They haven't, like for them, when they hear that someone has chosen to go no contact with a family member, they find it crazy because for them it's like, okay, how bad was this fight that you're gonna be so radical? Because they think in terms of, okay, it was a fight, or it was a one-time thing, or it was, for them, like they understand your situation through their own situation. They read events based on what they have lived, and for them, the relationship that they have with most of their family members is a relationship where they might have disagreed with them every now and then, but they always make peace. It's disagreements, it's not always seeing eye to eye, but it's not abuse. Most people who don't understand why someone would choose to be estranged from a blood relative are people who have not been through abuse. They don't understand abuse. For them, it's like, okay, you don't get along. Is that a reason to stop talking to someone? They don't understand abuse. So the first thing I want to say to these people is, if you do not understand something, either because you have never lived it or because you don't have the open-mindedness or even the compassion to understand that another person's experience is not to be invalidated just because you haven't lived that same experience. If you are one such person who is like, I just can't understand it. I just can't understand it. I cannot wrap my head around someone choosing to never speak again to one of their parents, one of their siblings, one of their grandparents, one of their, whoever, because you have never lived it. You need to keep your mouth shut. If you do not understand something because you have not lived it, you have no opinion to give or to share. Okay? You're doing more harm than good. I know that maybe some people mean well, but you're doing more harm than good. Just how big of a problem it is within our communities that abuse within homes is such a taboo, and such that the victim blaming just doesn't stop, Like, that's the paradox. Like, no, you should not, cut blood ties. You should talk about it. If there are real problems, you should go seek help. And then when you go seek help, it's such a sin to talk, badly about this person because this person is your elder. Why would you, air dirty laundry in public? Why do you talk about that? Why can't you talk about it in private? When you try to explain to these people that talking in private doesn't bring any positive result, because the problem again is not disagreements, it's not two people not being able to communicate properly, it's abuse. People refuse to hear it. So you're not allowed to talk about it, but you're also not allowed to decide to break free from it. You're not allowed to refuse to be subjected to it for the sake of maintaining blood ties, toxic blood ties, right? And by the way, when people talk about you shouldn't cut blood ties, the person who cuts blood ties is not the person who who leaves. It's the person who abused in the first place. When you abuse someone who's supposed to be your family, you're the one who canceled the concept of blood ties, of family. So let's just, get that straight in the first place. Then, I think that what I want to say today, until I find the time to do a longer video about it, is what I want to say to those people who always judge and who always, are the lesson givers and who always think that they know better. I want to tell you that there are 4 things that if you don't want to look stupid, and I use this word very intentionally, there are 4 things that you should never say to someone who is estranged from their family or from someone that you feel they shouldn't be estranged from. And those 4 things are: number 1, you will regret it one day. Number 2, it is a sin to cut blood ties. Number 3, be the bigger person. Number 4, unforgiveness hurts you more than it hurts them. So let's break down these 4 pieces of advice, because that's how you think, that's what you think you're doing. You're giving advice, right? What you have to understand is that estrangement is what someone chooses when all the other attempts at communicating with safety within the boundaries of a healthy relationship have failed. When all your attempts at communicating in a healthy manner with a person have failed, and that you are constantly being put in some type of danger, physical or psychological, this is when someone says enough. And that's when they say never again. Okay? So if you do not understand it, it's fine. But just stop judging. And no one asked you for your opinion, so you don't have to share it. Okay? If you know that you cannot help, then don't make it worse. That's, I think, a very good life rule to live by in general for any subject, for any situation. And then to you, who is maybe going through this guilt because you are being gaslit into thinking that, being abused is not something that you should be that concerned about. Bringing shame to your family is worse and bigger. It's a bigger problem than what this family has done to you in the first place. I want to tell you that, first of all, I want to congratulate you before anything, because the amount of courage, of strength, of energy, or physical energy that it required you to take this decision and to stick to it for however long you have been able to do this. Congratulations for having, had that strength to break free and to break cycles. Congratulations. What I will say is, you know why you made that decision in the first place. So don't betray yourself. All the work that you did to reclaim your life, don't betray yourself, don't betray that work. You deserve peace and you deserve a life. So make sure you protect both, your peace and your life.